Hello, everyone. How are you, dear viewer? Are you living your dreams? Are you content? Have you found meaning in your life? Welcome back. This is Thoughts and Gameplay, I think 5? I'm gonna have to double check. It's 5 or 6. But this series is a little unscripted, and I actually have 3 video ideas. Well, same sort of category, same idea, but they're going to be 3 videos, and they're going to be scripted, they're going to be refined, it's going to be less raw. It's definitely something worth watching. To give you an idea, a hint at what they'll be destructive, deconstructive, destruction, annihilation. Because I seem good at that. If there's one thing I seem good at, it's destroying things. Anyways, so yeah, for this video, now that I got that out of the way, now that I've given you a teaser and what's to come, I feel like this series is maybe not as exciting, maybe not as invigorating, doesn't exactly get the gears rolling, and it might be a little slow given my thought process. So yeah, I definitely want to start making much better videos. So this type of video might be the last one for a while, unless requested. Anyways, so the topic of today is, well, the first topic is memories. Memories are what make people. Memories dictate your actions, actions in the future, actions in the present. And sometimes people get stuck in their memories. And the reason why they get stuck in their memories often is, well, there's regret, there's shame, there's embarrassment, or I guess that's the same thing. There's hatred of someone that just sticks out in their mind, and they spend their whole lives digging 2 graves, one for their enemies and one for themselves. But those are the obvious negative effects of staying in the past, of being stuck in your memories. I think the less obvious one is nostalgia. Don't think I'm the first person to say this. I think I'm the first. It's the first time I've thought of this, but I'm sure someone somewhere else, in the grand ether of the collective unconscious, someone has said, as I'm saying now, that nostalgia is a sweet poison. It keeps you stuck. It's like honey. Honey in a flower that's meant to devour you. It's like one of those carnivorous plants, and you're an insect, and it draws you in until you realize you're being destroyed, you're being digested. And I think that's a problem for way more people than they realize. Nostalgia. Thinking back to better days, thinking back to things that they've enjoyed, the people they had adventures with. And I feel the only trick, the only strategy that works in dealing with nostalgia is to keep moving. In nature, animals that stay in motion stay alive. Animals that sit too long or stay in one place too long, they eventually die or become prey to a larger animal. And I had ideas here. I always have ideas written on a script. I can't follow a script because then it sounds too robotic. So I had to have bullet point and just kind of give the ideas as they come naturally. So yeah, you gotta keep moving, you gotta keep swimming like a shark. If you stop, you won't be able to breathe. You won't be able to think. You won't be able to do anything. So you gotta keep moving. And you may have had 1,000 pleasurable experiences, but to dwell on those when they are not there, when they're not present, when the future horizon promises only more pain and suffering, you gotta keep moving through hell. And it's a painful truth. And that's what comes to my next point of this video. I mean, it's a little early. I have a lot of background content, at least an hour's worth, that I gotta fill. That's the thing, I don't want to make videos with these set parameters. They either gotta be way too short or way too long. I want to do what fits, what feels right. You know, some videos are naturally going to be longer than others, some videos are naturally shorter than others. But my next point of this video, now that I've brought up the dangers of being stuck in the past, dangers of dwelling on the past, that I found my purpose for this channel. It's controversial, and something I've always been known for is telling the truth, plainly and painfully. As we know today, the truth is controversial. We look at the recent release of the Epstein files. It's painful. The truth is painful. When you see the world for what it is, when you look at the curtain, past the curtain, the world is going to disappoint you. It's going to make you sad, make you angry. It's a painful truth. Like death. Death is the inevitable, painful truth. And that's what my channel is going to be about. If I have anything to offer to a would-be viewer, if I'm not funny enough or entertaining enough, or if my skills as a video gamer do not impress, the point of my channel will be to prepare you for the ultimate ending. I don't recall which author said this. I think it's Neil Gaiman, the one that did the Sandman series, or behind the Sandman series. He didn't do the Sandman series. The books are called something else, but I believe I probably have that wrong. But anyways, and I'm paraphrasing because I didn't bother to look up the quote, and I probably should have. Probably should have put more effort into this, and maybe that's my problem too, not putting enough effort. But then it just seems like it's never enough effort. But to paraphrase, or quoting, depending on if I remember it right, is that all stories, all true endings to a story, is death. And that we all wish we can leave our lives on a cliffhanger. We all wish our stories ended with a to be continued. But in reality, all of our stories will end in death. And that's what my channel is going to be about. To train, to educate, to prepare. It's my true calling, as I've always been someone that people will be comfortable around, but also pained to be around. It's like that old friend that you meet in the end. That friend that was always going to be there for you in the end. So my channel will prepare you for that end. Hopefully. I'm enthusiastic about the idea. I believe it's not something that is a major selling point today. I mean, yes, people like to look into topics, research different backgrounds, subjects. A lot of people like to dive into the forbidden mysteries, forbidden knowledge, the esoteric, the truth behind mythologies, but nobody likes to deal with death. And that's what I will try and provide for with this channel. Prepare for death. I think about it a lot. Wait, not just in recent years. More so in recent years, definitely. But I've always had this weird connection to death. I experienced a lot of family members that passed on. I've been right next to every pet as they drew their last breath. Well, almost next to every pet. I knew what death was very early on, how it affected animals. And ever since then, I've always had a strong empathy for creatures, for lesser creatures. Because while people can come up with ideas, while they can shield themselves from the concept of death, to animals, they don't understand what it is. So I've always been empathetic. Ironically, I'm not a vegan, but then again, maybe I should be. I think I've always been connected to that dreadful ending, and it's affected my life in different ways that wouldn't affect other people. I think about things in a way that are into relation to the now. They're always into the relation to the then. And maybe that's hindered me. Maybe that's affected my way of living. But now that I understand, now that I feel that death is something to expect, look forward to, be prepared for, I'm feeling a little bit sense of comfort as the weight's coming off. Well, not entirely, because nobody wants to die. It's not something anybody wants to do. It's not organically natural. Everything wants to live and feed and drink and sleep and find other individuals to breed with. But since I'm not doing any living, or much of living, besides eating, showering, and shitting, I might as well prepare for that inevitable end. Which hopefully, God willing or universe willing, whichever I'm supposed to be praying to, that it's not for a long time. And I definitely wanted to end it sooner in earlier years. That's definitely been my problem. But now I understand that it was just a wanting to end a pain and suffering. And that death is not something you can rush into. Death is something you need to train and educate yourself on. You need to acquire skills and knowledge, as it is the ultimate test. I apologize, dear viewer, if this is dark or melancholic, whatever words to describe this dark concept, but it's just me. It's my truth, which is everybody's truth. Death. So yeah, I'm gonna have some videos planned. And the way I see it is that the more you understand different ideas, some people spend their whole lives studying one subject or a family of subjects. But me, I've always been drawn to knowing everything. And I think the point is, the more you understand everything, the more you understand truth. Because truth is not a subjective experience. It is a all-encompassing state of being. So I will be covering different topics, and it'll be for purpose of dismantling and or revealing and or deconstruction. And every idea that I come across, that I contemplate, will be something you can use for yourself for when the end comes. That's the service I'm going to provide to people. Because it's not comfortable to contemplate these things. It's not comfortable to think about the end. It's not normal or natural, but I've never been normal or natural. I don't think I'm unnatural, but I've never been part of the crowd. So maybe this is both my curse and my blessing, is that I will educate thee for the end. Or maybe this is just my ego talking, I don't know. Anyways, so what else happened in the world? So we got the Olympics, we got the Epstein files, we got Chinese New Year, Year of the Horse. I think I was Year of the Horse. So hopefully I'll have more power, more steam this year, more energy, more strength. Because man, that just lately, I'm almost a month into no alcohol. This is the longest month of my life. Oh God, I want to drink again. Like good alcohol too, not shitty alcohol or shitty mixers. Like just a good Scotch or a very finely aged bourbon, or just a very good bottle of Chilean red. Just want to sit back and enjoy. But right now I feel like I can't enjoy. There's work to be done. Even when I play video games, it doesn't feel like I'm doing it for enjoyment. I feel like it's for work now. I'm doing it for my YouTube channel, or I'm doing it for mental training. I mean, yeah, there's some enjoyment, but it's not the goal. It's not the purpose. As many things I do, working out. Now working out hurts. I don't know what's going on. I don't know if I'm getting a arthritis in my spine, or the discs are degenerating, but working out hurts. I mean, I still try to do it because I want to maintain. I don't think I'll ever reach PRs anymore. I just got to accept that. But even just doing simple exercises, they hurt. And I'm taking the supplements, I'm getting the sleep, not drinking alcohol, and everything feels worse. It's ironic. The world's very ironic. The universe is ironic. It's very anxiety-inducing, because once you think you've understood it, it turns around on you. It laughs as the truth of it slips between your fingers. And the world's been laughing at me for a long time. But I've also been known to be a joker. And in the game of trolling, in the game of shit testing, in the game of hurling insults back and forth. I like to think I'm one of the best at it. Well, it's gonna be a long video, eh? Long video. Ran out of things to talk about real quick. That's why I gotta keep moving, gotta keep doing. Also want to start another series where it's actually, you know what, maybe I shouldn't discuss the ideas because then someone could take it. Not that I don't think these ideas that can be shared, but I like to be known for doing it first, or at least my own unique spin. So anyways, I'm gonna keep some of those ideas to myself. But yeah, because I don't know, lately I'm always stuck in the past, but it's not just nostalgia. Some of it's shame, some of it's pain, some of it's regret, relationships that were allowed to fumble, or I let fumble. But actually, I've been rewatching the series Supernatural, and it's one of my, forgive me, it might not be that intellectually stimulating, but I'm not that intellectual anyway, so I guess it doesn't matter. But Supernatural is definitely one of my top 3 shows that I could watch over and over again. And the main character, Dean Winchester, again's definitely in the top 10 of my fictional heroes. Maybe top 5. He was asked about how to deal with painful memories and painful pasts, and being someone that's fought monsters, demons, angels, been to hell and back, fought God, the apocalypse. I mean, at that point in the series, he hadn't fought God yet, but sorry if I spoiled that for you. I apologize. I'll put a bubble in this video, so before I spoil it, you'll know. Anyways, he says you just keep going. You let go and keep going. Shed the dead weight and keep going. And in reality, he was the most prepared for death one can be. I mean, he died several times in the show, but maybe in life people die symbolically. I feel I've died symbolically a few times already. And maybe that's what requires you to be prepared for the end, is to have died symbolically in spirit and soul many times before the final test. But yeah, it's definitely, it's more of a, well, I don't call it guilty pleasure show. It's definitely not the silliest show the silliest show, if I can, it would be Trailer Park Boys or Blue Mountain State. Those 3 shows I gotta watch over and over again. And 2 of those are definitely silly. Definitely ridiculous. I watch Trailer Park Boys just because I think it's a underappreciated humor. It's kind of like that method acting, mockumentary style, before mockumentaries were kind of a thing. Or I could be wrong. I could be wrong on the mockumentary thing, but they're definitely the first ones to kind of do a show like that, I think. And Blue Mountain State, I didn't really have a way to college experience the way a lot of Americans do. You know, because a lot of Americans, there's a lot more towns in the States than there are in Canada. There's a lot less there's more distance in Canada, but in the States, there's only so many colleges. So a lot of people who are in college are from out of the town, out of the city. So I never had that experience. And I live vicariously through it. Definitely did the drinking. None of the other stuff, but definitely the drinking. See? Shows like that, you get stuck, especially BMS. Get stuck in nostalgia, stuck in the past, the glory days. And I guess if you don't have any other goals, or you're just sort of waiting out your session, so to speak, I guess it doesn't really matter. But if you're someone who still yearns for something, still strives to achieve something, then it doesn't help. It's not something that's going to benefit you. And this goes for relationships as well. Relationships held by nostalgia are cheap. They're not substantial. It's poor foundation. So if you're in those kind of relationships where the only time you rekindle is due to nostalgia, then I would advise not to. Because those are probably what kept you from doing what you wanted to do in the first place. Because if you have goals, if you have things you desire to achieve, then there are going to be those, whether they're conscious of it or whether they're Hylics and they're just sent by the Matrix to interfere with you, they're going to want to slow you down. They're going to want to interfere with your dreams. And if it's just nostalgia holding it together, then in the words of Dean Winchester, just let it go. There will be others. You will meet many others. Many faces along the grave. I'm having trouble with my OBS before, so hopefully there's no issues and I don't have to redo this. I mean, it'll be more scripted if I have to redo it, but I don't like doing scripted stuff. I was never an actor. Just like speaking from the heart and from the mind. Used to do, mostly due to video games, but also during the pandemic. I know I keep calling back to the pandemic. Talking about, I know some people probably don't think the pandemic was nostalgic, but for me it kind of was. Because for me, my life wasn't going that far. I had a career, but it wasn't a great career. And video games was one of my main coping mechanisms. So during the pandemic, well, wasn't considered essential. And basically just played video games with the boys. With the squad. Lots of video games. I didn't capitalize on the whole YouTube and streaming thing, which I should have, but I think at the time I wanted to do it, but if I was streaming, then I'd have to worry about my friends saying the wrong thing, and they didn't want to be in a live stream, or they were going to be the type of friends that say something they shouldn't, and then you have to worry about that. And then I wasn't familiar with OBS at the time. It just seems like I had a mental block then, where I didn't think I was just living in the moment. Didn't really have objectives. Just not worrying about the future. I should have worried more. But hindsight is 20/20. But I was definitely nostalgic for those times. And I did a lot of video chats with people, because you couldn't meet up in person. And honestly, I had some good conversations. Sometimes people were able to add to the conversation, sometimes they were just there to listen. Sometimes they're just there to laugh at you when you came up with an idea that was silly or stupid. But it was definitely nostalgic. Apologies for the interruptions. Slight technical difficulties. Yes, I got my cat here with me. What would you like to say? Yeah. That's one thing I've noticed. Alcohol really does assist the mind. It greases the wheels of intellectual thought. That's why many writers and philosophers were definitely drinkers. It's just it takes its toll on the body, and I just want to prove to myself that I can do it. Got almost done 1 month, and I got 11 more to go. It's gonna be a long, long year, but that's okay, eh, buddy? That's okay. I used to. It was weird. I waited till I was 18 to drink. I don't know why. It was one of those things where I wanted to prove that I didn't have, like, a lot of my friends would drink, secretly drink, meet up and have secret speakeasy hangouts, Don't let the parents know we're drinking. And I'd hang out with them and I wouldn't drink. And I don't know. It was like I wanted to prove to myself that I can wait. Maybe I should have done it earlier. I don't know, when the opportunity presented itself. And I wouldn't have gone so hard as I did afterwards. So I guess now I just want to prove myself again. Prove to myself that I can do it. But I do enjoy drinking. I don't like getting drunk. Nobody... yes, there are people that like getting drunk, but those people are often broken beyond repair. They have demons they're trying to drown, but I learned real early that demons can swim in the liquor. They get their surfboard and they ride the waves. You might drown, but they won't. So it's just something I want to prove to myself. Other things I want to prove to myself. Lots of things I want to prepare for, train my body for. As long as there's no big emotional events, no major inconveniences. But that's what I noticed. There's always somebody that's trying to... Sometimes it's just because their own lives are not going where they want, so they have to spread out the pain and get other people to share the load of their suffering. And sometimes it's Hylics that are sent by the Archons, agents of the Matrix, to interfere with your progression. Like just the other night, I had a call from it was from a cousin of an ex, but they like to hang out together, and they're inviting me out to drink, even though I've said several times that I'm taking a break from alcohol. Granted, when I said that to them, that was a few months ago, and I was still drinking a little bit, but they weren't the wiser. They didn't know my situation. And it's like you tell people you just want to exist in a certain state or achieve a certain state, and they won't let you. It's like they see that divine spark trying to resist the monotony of the machine. Hey, you like to rub the belly rubs? Well, technically you get your neck rubbed. I swear, this cat. I am sitting on the edge of my chair, so if there's another interruption, it's because the chair flipped. Because I'm sitting on the edge as he's taken my seat. But that's okay. Such a good cat, eh? Such a good cat. Anyways, this might be a short one. Do have work tomorrow, unfortunately. It's unfortunate that we have to work for currency that barely matters. We just want to we just want to create, want to live. We can barely live because we're struggling to pay for things that we never needed to pay for in the first place, and we gotta keep the machine fed. We gotta keep the system run by those small hat reptiles fed, who then serve the Archons and then the Demiurge and whatnot. And it's unfortunate we can't, those of us with divine spark, cannot explore what it means to be, what it means to exist, what it means to be conscious. We're stuck having to be forced to be monotonous robots that the only joy we're allowed to be permitted is goy ball and goy slop. And listen to celebrities tell us how we're not good, how we're no good, and they're better than us. So yeah, that might be a short one, unfortunately. Also, I kind of want to sit, buddy. Yeah. Anyways. So yeah. Memories, nostalgia, death. I think all these things are related to each other. Because when we die, we all hope we get to exist in our most nostalgic memories. It's like in Supernatural. I mean, again, I don't want to spoil too much, but in the beginning, heaven was a state of existing in your most nostalgic memories, your best memories. That's what heaven was for each person. I'm sure many of us wish it could be that. Some of us wish it could be more, something beyond what we could imagine. And that's probably why in the Bible he says, well, I'm paraphrasing, but something along the lines that we don't know what it's going to be, what's in store for us. But many of us just wish at the very least that when we die, we can exist in our most nostalgic memories. Because in death, it won't matter. The poison won't matter. Or maybe it will. I don't know. I know the Buddhists talk about avoiding being a part of anything. When you die, you have to avoid latching on to anything. But I don't know about that. It just seems... I mean, I guess you can enjoy the moments as they come, right? Like in life, you enjoy the moments as they come, and then you let them go. But I guess for many of us, we just wish those moments could be forever. And we know it's not going to be. And hopefully I will provide some spiritual guidance to you, dear viewer. If you're feeling lost and alone. I mean, there are many sources of spiritual guidance. There's the big ones, there's the small ones. But I think I'm going to explain it in the nichest way possible. Maybe it'll be too accurate, but it'll be closer to the truth as much as possible. Closest to the truth as much as possible. I don't want to lie to you, dear viewer. I don't want to deceive you. I don't want to... Whatever I know to be true, I will try to translate to you. And you can take it with a grain of salt or a spoonful of sugar. That's up to you. This channel will make no... Well, that's not true either. I will make some grand claims, but again, that's going to be up to you to decide. Alright. Thank you again, dear viewer. I'm going to cut this short and see if this cat wants more food. Hey, buddy. You just love the love and attention. Okay, dear viewer, thank you again. And I wish you good night and sweet dreams. And that tomorrow comes, the sun rises again upon thee. Thank you. Bye-bye.